Hello, I am so happy you're here. This is going to be one of those videos where I awkwardly use visual aids to try to make a point, so yay about that. I wanted to start by showing you two different countries and then I'll tell you about them. Two places with some incredibly beautiful and peaceful looking scenery. I will show you three pictures of each country. That's country number one. Next, will be this one. Pretty nice, huh? Boom, that's country number two. Sorry, administrative adjustment here. The first set of pictures was of Finland, ranked the world's happiest country to live in for the past 4 years. Its citizens overall have strong feelings of communal support and mutual trust. Finlanders feel strongly that they're free to make their own choices and have minimal suspicion of government corruption. Every citizen in Finland is guaranteed adequate social, health, and medical service, and they have minimal reliance on food imports. I'm just adjusting something that's driving me nuts. With an 80% rate of self-sufficiency with food production. Another factor thought to contribute to their happiness is their low population density. They probably don't see many traffic jams or wait on many lines. So overall, citizens perceive each other to be warm and open and sincere. The second set of pictures were of Venezuela, ranked the most miserable country to live in for the past 4 years. This South American country, once known as the richest country in South America, spiraled into a heartbreaking humanitarian crisis because of misguided economic policies and severe political conflict. The reality of living in Venezuela became power blackouts, chronic food and medicine shortages, and catastrophic hyperinflation, causing localized violence to skyrocket. People are literally fighting for food to avoid starvation. Now, I know that here we've all noticed the increase in the cost of just about everything, but this will give you an idea of how inflation manifested in Venezuela. A few years ago, the cost of a dozen eggs had risen to the equivalent of $150. Can you imagine? I'd have to get a bodyguard for my chickens, especially my sweet little baby Nugget. But then the government stepped in to help and fixed prices on 27 of the most commonly consumed foods. The price of eggs dropped to only $45 a dozen. Not as bad. Although with the minimum wage in Venezuela being set at $7 a month, the new prices didn't really fix much. $7 a month. So, there are very different realities living in Finland and living in Venezuela, despite how beautiful both places inherently are. When we can't see all the factors affecting success and stability and happiness, both places seem to be doing just fine. Now, that's how I'd like us to think about all the beautiful faces around here and in your life. Co-workers, family, friends. They may look content, they may look healthy, they may even look peaceful, and maybe they are. But if we think of each person as his or her own distinct country, we cannot look at them and know what it's like to live there. We can think we know what a person's like, but we can't know what it's like to be in their minds and manage their circumstances, not to mention the fact that things can be different on any given day. So, since we don't know the complete picture, there are two things we can learn to do in order to err on the side of compassion. The first is something we can try to do less of: judging. This is one of those things that's inherent to you on the job, and that's good. But it means you need to be aware of that fact in order to learn to deliberately counteract it in your personal life. It's very easy for us to judge people's behavior at face value, but there are so many factors contributing to why people are how they are and why they do what they do. They might not like their behavior either. So, especially with those you care about and those here within this brotherhood, try to remember that we never have the full picture of a person. Never have their entire story. Which brings me to what we can learn to have more of: patience. Patience is a more powerful tool than it may seem. It sounds like a fluffy term for a skill that's pleasant, but not necessarily necessary. But patience is what enables us to tolerate flaws in each other. When we're less tweaked and emotionally reactive to what we perceive as weird, annoying, or even offensive about a person, we're better able to see their positive attributes, better able to find mutual connectivity with that person, and more likely to get an accurate and well-rounded assessment of who they really are. And as a side note, There's a flip side to this perspective too. If you happen to be someone who doesn't necessarily get profiled accurately from the jump, just be patient. Time has a way of sorting these things out. Now, my advice, and I know what I'm talking about here, just keep being the real you, and that's what you'll be seen for by those who want to see that. And anything other than that, you can't really control, so you just let that roll off and keep it positive. Anyway, learning to have patience for those who matter to us actually brings out the very best in us. It increases our capacity for forgiveness, generosity, and compassion. And it will make the relationships in your life, even the less intimate ones, more genuine and more fulfilling in both directions. The last thing I wanted to say is that things can change. Things that are bleak often don't stay that way. The beauty of Venezuela will not always be in such stark contrast to its state of chaos and volatility. But as a matter of fact, the inflation crisis has actually begun to turn around. The government stopped financing itself via accelerated money printing, and Venezuela has unofficially adopted the US dollar as the currency. Now, it will take time, but it looks like the country will recover. Its people will persevere with strength, optimism, and patience. That's a trifecta of prosperity right there. So, be patient, be good to each other, and be well.